Hello and welcome back. I'm glad to have you here as I'm going to share with you this amazing delicious recipe, donuts at home. Let us start off by taking lukewarm water and add our yeast into it along with 2 to 3 tablespoons of sugar. Sugar is as important as yeast over here because sugar actually helps the yeast to rise. Oh, here we have our yeast rising just in 5 minutes. We'll go ahead with all-purpose flour and milk and melted butter, and along with that 2 eggs as well, and mix it into a thin batter. Once you have the batter ready, we'll go ahead and add our all-purpose flour because we actually want to have a thick dough because we need it to be soft, we need it to be fluffy. So we'll bring it all together and knead this dough into a soft dough. Just in case your dough is a little bit sticky and wet, all you have to do is add a little bit more dry flour into it and knead it again really very well, getting rid of all the lumps in it and forming a soft dough. Trust me, this dough actually comes handy for a lot of recipes, and when I had this dough left over, I ended up making tandoori rotis. Yeah. So once you have kneaded the dough really well, we'll apply some oil and grease it and keep it aside for 40 to 50 minutes, and you will end up having double the size of the dough. Trust me, you will literally have it rising, and you just have to punch in to get rid of all the air in it, and then later on we'll be taking out some quantity that you need to make your donuts. Knead it a little bit more by dusting some dry flour onto it and then rolling out this dough a little bit thick. We need to have a thick layer so that we can have thick donuts, because you need to make sure that when you cut out your donuts, they have to be fluffy and a bit more thick. So once you cut out your donuts, in case you have a cookie cutter, it's amazing, but since you don't have it, you have to go ahead with some bowl which has the size of the donuts you want. Once you're done cutting out the donuts, and when you want that small little hole inside them, you go ahead with the cap of some random bottle, and there you have your donuts. Just make sure that you have that kind of thickness because the donuts are supposed to be thick. Once you have your donuts out, you have to proof them for 20 more minutes. Once the proofing is done, we will be frying them into the hot oil. Drop them carefully, please. Once you have them ready, when they're golden, you just have to take them out and strain out all the oil. Once the oil have been strained out, we'll go ahead with glazing them. But first, let's prepare our glaze. So here I'm going to make chocolate glaze. You can actually go ahead and make a simple sugar glaze, and for that you just need powdered sugar and milk. But since I want a chocolate glaze, I have added cocoa powder here, and we'll be whisking it really well to form this kind of a thick glaze. Once this glaze is ready, your donuts are so ready to be dipped in, and see, you have your chocolate glazed donut ready, just as good as any donut that you get outside. But this one's going to be a bit more healthier, of course. Not healthier, but a better version of what you get from outside. And since kids love sprinkles, and maybe even elders do, let's go ahead and sprinkle some goodness over it. So we have just taken our chocolate glaze and sprinkled some sprinkles over it, and we have super lovely, soft, amazing donuts right in front of us. And since that was not enough for me, I went ahead and applied some chocolate, white chocolate over my chocolate glaze. We'll be putting some lines over there, and once you have the proper lines drawn on the donut, we'll grab a toothpick and draw some strikes from both the sides, and just look at the beautiful pattern that it has formed. There you go, your donuts are ready, all set to dive into that deliciousness. And trust me, I did not really find any difference from the one we get outside, except that these are actually a bit better. So trust me and go ahead and make this recipe at your home. Try it out, your kids are going to love it. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.